What's up, Eagles Nation? What's going on, NFL world? How you doing, division rivals? This is Steven Hyder with Gate City Sports Channel, the sports channel where the cerebral NFL fan comes for about 10 minutes of daily content. Once again, guys, Steven Hyder, Gate City Sports Channel. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you're new to my channel, do me a huge favor, guys. Hit that subscribe button. If you're an old G subscriber and you want to help out the channel, hit that like button. That's how we communicate with YouTube and let YouTube know to push this, content across the platform. All right, y'all. So let's jump into today's topic. I think every one of us are a little uncomfortable with how long this, coaching search is taking because there's so many vacancies. And I think I could understand holding off on interviewing like the OC until you get all of the candidates you want to interview interviewed. I get it. We're pretty much the only other, option out there, so it's not like we're going to lose out on anyone else. With that said, I do kind of join in with the general consensus of people who are getting a little frustrated because I don't understand what the hesitation is with things like running back coach. I'm sorry, my bad. Wide receiver coach, cornerbacks coach, things like that. Like these other positional coaching, things that are out there. Like we should be hearing more about them. We're not hearing that. Now, recently we found out the Philadelphia Eagles have asked to interview Mike Kafka. And that's today's topic. I want to talk about what is going on with this OC thing and just kind of how I see things from a generalized standpoint. So, all right, let's jump into today's topic.
But the fundamentals, those are things that we stress on a daily basis.
I think a lot of us are starting to sense the frustration coming out of everyone because I did try to warn people when I first jumped on here and we started talking about the offseason, guys. I tried to warn y'all that, look, this search for the OC was probably going to be a longer process than people understand just because getting the right fit here, the way the optics look with saying, hey, this guy's going to be back, and then 24 hours later, it's quite clear that your owner. I'm sorry, if you guys still don't think it was the owner that said, no, you got to deuce him out, then I got oceanfront property for you in Arizona. Like, the optics don't look good. Like, I mean, there's a lot of things that now it's going to make it harder to find the right fit for Doug Pederson. Now, I have heard some content creators advocate that, look, the reason we can't get these, top line, OCs is because we don't allow them to call plays. And they're correct. That is true. Where I separate with the rest of them, though, is the, then like belief system that, in order to get these OCs, we need to strip Doug Pederson the play calling. Guys, I'm here to tell you, if you're thinking that, I'm sorry, you're just wrong. You're wrong. That's how you lose good head coaches. Head coaches who are offensive minded call their own plays. If you don't believe me, I got the list right here, guys. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 out of 32 head coaches that are former backgrounds as, coaching in the offensive side of the football. That's roughly what 20 out of 32 is 62, 63%. So that means that 31 to 32% roughly or 33% somewhere in that area are defensive minded, okay? So if you look at this list of 20 offensive coaches, okay, you can break these up into 3 categories, guys. So today I just want to guide you through these 3 categories of coaches. I think the first category of coaches you have are the guys who don't call their own plays, i.e. the guys who are fixing to get fired. So if you're saying Doug doesn't need to call his own plays, you're basically saying Doug needs to get fired and we got to move on. Just understand what you're advocating for. Number 2, you have guys who call their own plays. They have an offensive coordinator, but the role of the offensive coordinator is not very well defined, clearly. And then number 3, you got guys who don't even have an offensive coordinator. They clearly call their own plays. There is no OC, and they have complete control basically over this, and they just basically have a passing game coordinator who's probably either their quarterback's coach or their wide receiver coach. There's no OC associated with the football team. So that's the 3 categories. Now I just want to start off, I want to give you guys just a little bit of who fits in these categories. Number 1 category, the category you guys are advocating to place Doug Pederson, which I think is a huge mistake, guys. All right, let me just name the coaches. Doug Marrone with John DeFilippo was last year. Okay, Doug Marrone, and John DeFilippo. How'd that work out, guys? Anthony Lynn with Ken Wisenhunt, and then when Ken Wisenhunt was let go, Anthony Lynn with Shane Steichen, his quarterback coach. All right. This year, we're going to have Mike McCarthy and Kellen Moore. Last year, we all know what it was, Jason Garrett and Kellen Moore. How'd that work out? And then you got Bruce Arians and Byron Leftwich. which I would think if you're going to make a case, it's not a good case, but at least Bruce Arians we know is a respectable coach across the league. But that's the only place you can go with it, guys. It's just not, to me, that's not a model of success. Like, if that's truly what we feel about Doug Pederson, it's time to go different ways. It's time to let go of Doug Pederson, and we got to go somewhere else. I don't personally feel that way. I think that would be a huge mistake. And I'm sorry, all the guys you name, I like Jim Caldwell. Doug Peterson's a better play caller. I like all the names, Marty Morningwig. I like him. Doug Peterson's a better play caller. All those guys, I'm sorry. Like, Doug Pederson has proven himself to be better than them. Now, would it be great in an idealized world? Could we get a guy at Jim Caldwell's caliber who, while I think Doug Pederson is certainly the better play caller, Jim Caldwell's not like he's that far down below Doug Pederson. He's, got experience running a different style of offense. I would love to have a guy like Jim Caldwell come in here and agree to be the OC. But as a lot of you guys pointed out, it's very unlikely because he's not going to get to call the plays. Now, special assistant to the coach, something like that, an advisory role, I'd love to get guys like that. I just don't think it's going to happen, guys. Your second category. Your second category is the largest category by far, guys. This is where you get guys like Adam Gase, Zach Taylor, Freddie Kitchens, Bill O'Brien, Frank Reich, Andy Reid, John Gruden, Matt Nagy, Matt LaFleur, Sean Payton, and Doug Pederson. That's where there's a there's a title given to a guy to call him the offensive coordinator. They probably contribute in terms of structuring the playbook. They probably serve as the passing game coordinator as well as being the offensive coordinator. And essentially, there are different levels to how much they have to do with play calling. Underneath Doug Pederson, what I understood is that most of the offensive coordinators called a 2-minute offense, and they might have a wrinkle here and there to where maybe they're calling the game. But generally speaking, out of all those coaches I named, so Adam Gase, Zach Taylor, Freddie Kitchens, Bill O'Brien, Frank Reich, Andy Reid, John Gruden, Matt Nagy, Matt LaFleur, Sean Payton, and Doug Pederson, they're the primary play callers. These other guys are not. I'm sorry, they're OCs. They have, some coordinators or some coaches might give coordinators a little more leeway than others, but generally speaking, they're not the main guys there. It's the head coach that is. And that's the dominant narrative across the league. That's also where you find your better offensive play callers. That's where you find your Doug Pederson. That's where you find your Sean Payton. That's where you're going to find guys that like Frank Reich. That's where you're going to find these type of guys. You got crappy guys in there too. I mean, you got look, I don't think Adam Gase I don't think he's a great coach, like a head coach, but Adam Gase has been known to be a decent play caller. Past that, guys, you get into this third group. And this is a very rare and kind of exclusive group. This is the no OC, head coaches with no OC, and they have a designated passing game coordinator. So who are the coaches that are in this category? You have Kyle Shanahan with the 49ers, Cliff Kingsbury with the Arizona Cardinals, Sean McVay with the Los Angeles Rams. Those are your three. So Kyle Shanahan has a passing game coordinator who's he has a tight end and assistant head coach first, and John Embry. And then he has a passing game coordinator and Mike LaFleur, who's obviously Matt LaFleur's little brother, the head coach of the Green Bay Packers' little brother. Then you have Cliff Kingsbury, who has no OC, and he has a passing game coordinator, and Tom Clemens. And then you have Sean McVay, who has no offensive coordinator, but he's got a passing game coordinator and his quarterback coach, who's Shane Waldron. So it gets split up, guys. I mean, there's three, particular segments of coaches here. As we get into this idea of the offensive coordinator, I think we need to find a fit for a young guy. And if you're look, I don't buy the whole don't buy this Andy Reid crap. I'm not going to let him go there because he's not going to call plays. Guys, 62.5% of the NFL is led by coordinators or head coaches that are offensive minded. Former position coaches, former coordinators. Of those 62.5%, other than maybe four positions, everyone else calls their own plays. So you're holding out for either one of the 12 defensive-minded football teams or one of those four. So you've limited yourself to 16 opportunities. So you've cut your opportunities to coach at a higher level in half. Come on. It's a bullcrap excuse. Obviously, what Andy Reid doesn't want is a guy of Mike Kafka's caliber. He's a good coach going to the Philadelphia Eagles, going to one of his guys. He doesn't want him going to Doug Pederson. He doesn't want him going to Matt Nagy. He doesn't want him going to any of those, disciples of his. He doesn't want that happening. So I do think that there's a high probability he might block this. Now, I'll say this. I like Mike Kafka. I think Mike Kafka would be a very good OC here in Philadelphia. I do think that he would bring a little different wrinkle than what we're using with, Doug Pederson currently with Carson Wentz. I still like the idea of bringing in other guys and interviewing them. I really like the kid out of USC. I thought Graham Harrell, I love his experience running up tempo offense. I definitely think that would be a good fit. He's a young guy. He can't come in and demand play calling. So, I mean, you know, these are my thoughts on it, guys. I do think that if we can get this kid in, he's clearly the choice. Mike Kafka is clearly the choice. We can get him in. But I do think you can't overlook internal promotions either, guys. When you're in this particular situation, how is Andy Reid? Because, for all the things Andy Reid keeps saying, he calls the plays. It's ridiculous. So how does he keep it rolling? He promotes internally to those positions. So I think what the Eagles need to do is identify good position coaches to come in and fill those. And I think you're going to have to take a chance on either bringing up a guy from college, like a Graham Harrell, or you're going to have to promote Deuce, or you're going to have to promote, I hate to say it, but Press Taylor. If you really think that much of Press Taylor, then you better give him the promotion anyways, because he's going to bounce town on you too, because he's got a brother that's already out there coaching who's going to need a coordinator pretty soon, or else he's going to be in trouble if he can't make that offense work this year. Like, we need action. We do need action. I do agree with that. Like, we will know something because they will be able to interview this week. They're going to be able to interview, even though the Kansas City Chiefs are in the Super Bowl, guys. They will have their opportunity to go ahead and interview Mike Kafka. So we will get that opportunity to see what happens from there, whether or not Andy Reid's going to block it for real or if he's going to let that happen. But we'll have answers soon, guys. All right, y'all. I'm sorry I don't have time to do a really long video today, but I did want to come on here and I wanted to get this video out there for y'all because I do think this is a very interesting topic right now. And I wanted to break down the way I was seeing stuff, guys. There's 3 categories of coaches, guys, when it comes to these play calling. I'm not in favor of moving Doug Pederson into that category where he's being handcuffed to not call plays. Like, no, he's still one of the best play callers in the league. Look, as good as a guy like Frank Reich wasn't the primary play caller here. Doug Pederson was. So what we need is a guy innovative like Frank Reich who can give influence and help. But you can't take play calling. Like, no, I'm not in favor of that, guys. I'm just not. I think it's a bad idea. All right, y'all. Peace. I'm out here. Y'all know what time it is. EAGLES. Guys, I know not everyone's going to agree with me on this, but leave your comments below. This is what I'll ask you to do. If you don't agree with me on it, I need you to expand upon it. Why do you feel so secure? Because I'm telling you, you better be ready to fire Doug Pederson if you're going to strip him of play calling. I'm telling you, he's going to deuce out on you. Hint, hint, hint. Deuce Staley. All right, y'all. I'm out of here, guys. Bye.